The molecules in a solid are tightly packed. That's why solids can keep their shape. They don't move around a lot. But when we heat them, then the molecules start to move. And as they move, then they can change their state of matter. Here we have a piece of chocolate sitting on top of some boiling water. So we are applying heat. Let's observe to see what happens. Here you can see our chocolate is beginning to melt, and it had a creamy center. Here we have our melted chocolate. And now we're going to let it cool down, and we're going to observe to see what happens. Here we have some butter sitting on top of our pan of boiling water. Let's observe to see what happens. Okay, here we see the butter beginning to melt. Now our solid butter has turned completely liquid. We're going to take it off of the heat and see what happens when we cool it down. Here we have a candle lit, and we see that the wax is melting, and we're collecting it here on this cardboard. After we get a good bit of melted wax, we're going to observe and see what happens when we put the fire out. Here we have a good bit of wax that's melted, and Emma is poking it so that you can see that it is soft. The molecules in a gas are already spread apart. So when they heat up, they just move further apart. Here we have our boiling water, and as you can see, when the water is boiling at 100 degrees Celsius, it's turning from a liquid into a gas, known as water vapor, or in this case, steam. The molecules in a liquid are more freely able to move around. That's why liquids can take the shapes of their containers. But also, when heat is applied, they begin to spread out. That's why liquids can change to a gas.
Okay, so after we heated the chocolate, the butter, and the candle wax, we put it in the refrigerator and we cooled it down. So now, we went from solid to liquid, and now once we cooled it down, it became a solid again. Okay, so this candle wax has changed completely from the wax, a liquid, to a solid. Now the butter didn't change to a very hard solid. It's still very liquidy. And the chocolate is very hard. This butter has turned into a very cool, it's in between a solid and a liquid, and it's very awesome.